I was asked recently on one of our live cooking shows about what inspired me or who inspired me to change my health, to prioritize my health and my diet and my lifestyle. All of us are not talking about our real motivation, what got us here, because it turns out that that is also going to be the thing that keeps us doing it. You know, a lot of you had an actual really serious health crisis that you've been going through, and that was your motivation. My story is a little bit different from that, and because I was younger when I started getting interested. I was only in my 20s when I started getting really interested in health, and it was because a lot of our family friends and extended family members too were getting unhealthy, and it was treated like it was just some random thing that we all deal with, and you go to the doctor and they give you the thing and then your numbers are lower, but are you really healthy? One thing that I like that's happening right now that was not cool at all back when I was getting started is that people are starting to say, whoa, the standard American diet is bad. It's full of processed junk. These food companies are making the food really rich. But when I got started, it wasn't that obvious to me. I didn't really understand that the food we put in our mouth is fueling our body and will have an impact on whether or not we have strokes and heart attacks, high blood pressure, you name it. I mean, looking back, it's really obvious, but it wasn't. And so I started digging into these things, watching documentaries, looking all over the internet. So I went to juicing, and I actually did feel a little bit better. It wasn't a ton better, but it was a little bit better in a way that I thought was caused by the juice. But what I realized later is the juice wasn't causing it. It was the juice taking up space of the other garbage, and it actually wasn't about what I was adding to my body, but what I was taking away. At the end of the juice fast, you eventually have to go back to eating. So I started eating again, and everything just went back to the way that it was. So I started thinking, I love the juice, I love what it does, but is that the actual cause of what was making me feel better? Another friend of the family has just died of cancer, and I'm like, what is going on? So cancer started becoming something that I'm thinking a lot about. How do I make sure I don't get cancer? Because we're treating it like it's just some random thing. And I came to the China study, T. Colin Campbell's China study, and I started learning about what happens when I take away the animal products, because that's what I did when I was juicing, but I didn't put two and two together. So then I took away the animal products. I was still eating French fries and Oreos and potato chips and all kinds of junk food, and still the processed ingredients like the refined carbs and all the junk. And of course, I wasn't getting that great of results. But I decided to stick to what was, called a vegan diet at that time. It was plant-based. So I stuck with it for like 3 years, and I was cheating, I was eating animal products, but I had dramatically reduced it. But I still wasn't feeling like I had gotten my health back. My weight was still going up, my blood pressure was still high, I tested my cholesterol and it was high. So I wasn't like getting the real results. All of a sudden, my mom has a high cholesterol scare. She's been prescribed statins, does not want to go on them, and wants to try to find a natural way, which I've been working on for ages, but feeling like I'm failing at because I'm not actually improving myself. So this was really motivating for me. My mom needs me now. We're going to do this together. And this was when I was introduced to the book, The Starch Solution by Dr. John McDougall, but also T. Colin Campbell's Whole, Caldwell Esselstyn's Preventing and Reversing Heart Disease, because having high cholesterol is a precursor to heart disease. So my mom and I read all these books rapid fire, one after the other, and we decided that it was John McDougall's The Starch Solution that we were going to first apply to our actual diet and lifestyle. We were going to do a 30-day challenge where we ate strictly to the starch solution. I eliminated all the processed junk. I focused on feeling full and satisfied from whole starches like beans, like whole grains like brown rice, like quinoa, tons of potatoes, russet potatoes, sweet potatoes, what have you. One thing I was doing wrong during that first 3 years of eating a plant-based diet is that I wasn't focusing on how to actually get full. It was always veggies and stuff. And that's when I was like going and cheating and having meat because I wasn't getting full and satisfied. And it was John McDougall that really helped me to understand you need to be eating a ton of whole natural starches to feel full all the time. And he was absolutely right. No matter what, if you're gonna eat a plant-based diet well and do it right and feel full and satisfied, you're eating potatoes, beans, whole grains, tons of oatmeal, rice, lentils, all of that. That's what's gonna be your fuel to fill you up. We're carbo loading every single day, just like the athletes do. Mom, we're doing 30 days, and we decided 30 days, no exception. So we get going, we find some simple recipes that don't have all the junk, and we eat it. That's it. We get up, we eat it. I was doing no exercise at all. It is not about exercise, folks. You didn't get unhealthy because you weren't doing enough exercise. You got unhealthy because of the food. That's what happened to me, and that's what happens to everybody who watches our channel, is it's the food. After that first day, my internal audience was just like, whoa, you did a new thing. And that gave me an emotional boost. And the craziest thing though, is after just 1 week, my life was changed. I thought it would take 30 days, and at the end of it, I'd be like, meh, a little different, whatever. But it was like a week in, and I was just like I didn't know that life could actually feel that way. And this is where I get emotional, because it was just so earth-shattering. And when you experience something like that in your life, something that causes such a dramatic effect, your energy, you wake up feeling ready to go, and it was all because of what I took out of my life, not because of some kind of magic fairy dust that I was sprinkling in. And that is the most empowering feeling. Now you don't feel like you have to spend all this money on all this BS, and all you had to do was take out all the expensive stuff. At this point, I was like, I'm doing this forever, I'm never going back. So I was feeling amazing after only a week, but we were gonna go the 30 days, and already this feeling came to us like, oh my gosh, we know it's working, we have to tell everybody. And then we did our blood work at the end of it, and our cholesterol, we both dropped our cholesterol 40 points. We were just like blown away. I couldn't believe the impact on my cholesterol, my blood pressure, the weight loss that I didn't even know I needed, but I looked so much better after. You could like see the face again. I never got to a truly scary place that I know many of you have gotten to, whether it's your weight, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your A1C, triglycerides, glucose, all these markers that are very important, but they need to be controlled naturally, because that's what the markers mean. They're meant to talk about what your whole body is doing. If you're just going to use meds to control them, then your body isn't actually doing the things that led those markers to be meaningful to you anyway. All we did to get healthy was cook healthy meals and eat them. I went into it thinking it's just that easy, that's it. Tell everybody we've got the key to the kingdom, and I'm ready to give it to anybody who wants it. Of course, nobody did. You realize the people that should love you the most do not want you to succeed at this, because it means now they need to start thinking about this, and they don't want to change. I had to change how I was interacting with people, how these social interactions worked. I was becoming known as this guy that eats funny and only thinks about health. And what happens here is it puts us into a weirdo box, and it turns out that we're all the weirdos. That's why I'm on YouTube instead of doing this in person now, because I needed an outlet. I needed you to talk to. What I didn't need was all of them to talk to that never in a million years are going to be interested in eating the way that we eat. Everybody else is going down the standard American path through the standard American medical system, where you're going to be prescribed drugs, you're going to be treated like the 10th person with this problem that doctor's seen today, and they're just going to put you down the prescribed path and tell you to keep on coming back. Now you realize that you can control that path. That is a big eye-opener, and it's going to make you want to find people in your life that agree with you. You need to make a new tribe of people so that you can still connect on these things, and that's what Well Your World is for me. You need a therapy, and your therapy can be all the things I just mentioned. Finding a new fun time that doesn't revolve around eating unhealthy food. And I'm ready to eat. Dang, that's good. And by the way, the people that think we're depriving ourselves of flavorful food, you are wrong. This food is amazing. Your taste buds change, your desires change, your microbiome changes, your whole body is undergoing a chemical, biological change, and this is what you want day in, day out. And I get my health, and I get to know that I'm not gonna croak tomorrow of a heart attack. That's my perfect life. And that's my story of how I found health and how I'm holding on to it.